Hey everyone, my name is Joe LaBelle, and today we're going to be talking about how to utilize Facebook Live as a webinar. Now, how can we advertise, market, get registration for all of these different, add all these different components together so that we can effectively utilize Facebook Live as a webinar platform? Now, there's a couple different reasons why we're going to utilize Facebook Live as a webinar platform. We're recognizing that traditional systems for webinars, Cisco, GoToWebinar, WebEx, those are definitely older platforms, older systems of hosting webinars. We know that data shows us that parents, the people we're engaging with, parents, youth, they are online. We're seeing that access to digital devices, to cell phones, mobile devices, is at an all-time high. And access between different communities, Hispanic, African American, the white Caucasian communities, are less than small percentages apart, as documented by Pew Research. So access to social media, access to mobile devices that you can easily utilize to watch a webinar on your time in a natural setting like Facebook is something that we need to jump on and be able to engage with. But we still have to be able to do reporting. We still have to be able to have ways to register people for the webinar, to get demographic information. So that's one of the things I want to talk about today. We also want to have ways to advertise that we're going to be hosting this. We don't want to just jump online and say, "Hey, everyone, I'm here." We do want to be able to market and register people for our webinar. So let me go through a couple of the steps that we utilize here at Family Network and Disabilities, some of the steps that I've seen other nonprofits utilize to make an effective webinar experience. So let's jump into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. So what you're going to see on my screen is Google Drive. Here at FND, we utilize Google Drive as our cloud system. Now, if you're using Box or Dropbox, it's all right. You can have Google Drive for nonprofits completely free, and you can sign up for it at any point. You can have one staff account. You can have all of your employees have an account. I was able to sign up for Google for nonprofits for FND in about a day. And it just took a little bit to get our staff acclimated to it. So you don't have to switch away from Box or Dropbox or Office 365, OneDrive. You can still utilize those and be able to utilize this system for registrations. So we utilized a Google form. I created a Google form by clicking New, More, and Forms. One more time, New, More, and Forms. I'm going to jump into the Google form that I created, and it says FND Pen Presentation Registration. Please register for an upcoming Facebook Live presentation. The presentation will begin in real time on our FND Pen Facebook page. I gave the link to the Pen Facebook page, and I said all information is kept completely confidential and will not be shared outside of FND. I'm collecting their email address. This is a template. This is a template. I want to say that one more time. So when our staff come in here, I've already created this. They're not creating it every single time. Our staff come into this folder, they right click and click on make a copy. They then take that copy and they drag it into their drive. Okay, so definitely something that that we want to be able to utilize as well is making this template for our staff and being able to help them utilize that. So when it says presentation title, I can type in here an IEP that works for you. That's the name of one of our presentations, an IEP that works for you. And then I will give a date and a time for the presentation. Okay, I'm gonna change it back. Perfect. So this is something that people will not fill out. This is only a title for them to know what presentation they're registering for. Then there's name. So I'll collect the person's name. I'll collect the person's phone number. And then I try to match up these forms to whatever set of reporting. So if it's HRSA for an F2F, I have a different form. If it's SIPR with PTIs or CPRCs, I use this style form. So birth to 3, 3 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 14, 15 to graduate or age out, or NA for professionals. I use the IDEA recognized disability types as found on the SIPR website or OSEP website, and your child's disability. I want to be able to capture that information as well. And again, I have two fields, NA for professional and not disclosed. Okay. Your primary language, English, Spanish, Creole, Russian, Portuguese, native language. You want to be able to make sure that you're collecting information that's pertinent to your parent center or your CPRC, your F2F, whomever you are working with for this project. So for us in the state of Florida, English, Spanish, Creole, Russian, Portuguese, and native languages, including indigenous Guatemalan languages, Mayan, Quiche, Canjobal, are all typical for people who register for our webinars. Again, we try to take the racial and ethnic background off of reporting sets. You are a parent, caregiver, guardian. We try to recognize and give value to the fact that the person who may be taking care of the child or maybe registering for this webinar, it may not just be a parent, but they're definitely the figure or the person that's taking care of that child. So a guardian, a caregiver. I try to give a lot of value to that. Teachers, school district personnel, work and related service, or a student with an IEP. I ask what county they're from, and then I ask I'm most interested in information on, and I give a number of resources: IDEA, early intervention, IEP, inclusion, resources available, assistive technology, transition, and accommodations. I try to do this because this gives our staff information to run with after we've hosted this webinar. Okay, so I have this lovely form. What do I do with it? You can, if you go ahead and click on send, you're going to see a couple options. You're going to see a little envelope. You're going to see something that looks like a paperclip and some arrows. Click on the paperclip and click shorten link. Now, this is the link that you can post on social media, in your email news blast, send it to private contacts, whomever. But the thing that we like to do in our marketing strategy is we like to combine it with a flyer. So we'll take this document, this link, that's how you register, and we use a system called Smore. Smore is an online flyer designing program. Now, you might be thinking, why do I need this? It's an extra cost. What does this do? Now, I have Publisher. I have Word. I can create flyers. I've done it forever, since the 90s. Well, something we need to recognize is the traditional flyers that we might create on Publisher, maybe PowerPoint, maybe Word, they're not dynamic. And what do I mean by dynamic? Dynamic flyers stretch and expand and shrink with the size of your phone. That is extremely important. So when I create a flyer, I'm going to go in here to one of the flyers I've already created. Student-led IEP, great. Now, when I send this flyer out, it's automatically going to expand if someone has a tablet, or it's going to shrink if someone has a cell phone, and the text is going to fit appropriately, and the images are going to line up so that you're not just posting a JPEG. People aren't going to have to pinch and pull on their phones to try to read the information you want to display to them. Now, in this flyer, student-led IEP, a free webinar presented by Family Network and Disabilities. We give some description of what this webinar is. This is a webinar on, obviously, student-led IEP. And you can see when, December 13th at 3 p.m. Great. Where this is an online event. We've got our social media links so people can tweet at us. They can click onto our Facebook. That's another really great reason to utilize a digital flyer as opposed to just a JPEG where it might have your Facebook handle on it, but is anyone really going to type that in? Whereas here, they can automatically click on it from their computer, from their smartphone, however they've gotten it, whether you've sent it out from an email blast. So we've got email, website, phone number. They can click on the phone number and it automatically pulls up in their phone. Really great. Then we've got two different things for people. Register here with their Google Form registration link. We also have embedded the form into this flyer for people to be able to register directly from here. So people can actually register right off of the flyer. And when they click submit, it automatically submits to us, which is a great thing. You can see how many people visited this. You can see analytics. I'm going to go over to a different flyer. Let me see. Let me pick up another flyer. Okay, Family Academic Day. This was a day hosted down in Key West, and I sent the flyer out to a whole bunch of different people, and it was viewed 67 times, which is substantial. I'm going to click on the analytics, and I can see that, okay, there's one person in Ireland, one person in the UK, but it's going to show me the analytics around the country. Someone from Washington, Minnesota, Chicago, a handful of people in California viewed it, but they're not my target audience. I'm going to click on Florida. That's my map. And I can see a whole bunch of people in Broward and West Palm Beach and Miami viewed this. That's more my target audience. I can see that people down in Key West viewed it, which is awesome. That's also my key audience. I'm going to look at the metrics, and 58 people viewed this from Facebook. One person viewed this from Twitter, and 8 people viewed it directly. That means 8 people that I emailed it to, 8 people that picked it up from direct email contact looked at this. Now, this is amazing analytics to look at. This is one of the reasons why we utilize Smore as a way to send out flyers for upcoming events. I can really dig down into the data and analyze it. And then you can add the registration form to it. Now, once you have your registration form, or once you have your flyer, the flyer looks really nice. I love it. You can click on this link, copied, and then post it to social media. Please join us. Oops. Please join us for an IP that worked for you. I'm going to click and post the Smore flyer. Watch what happens. It automatically picks up a version, a preview of that flyer. So Google or Facebook analytics algorithms prioritize posts with images in it. So picking up a preview prioritizes that post over another, which is really great. And when someone clicks on that post, on that preview, it's automatically going to pull them to your flyer where they can then register for the presentation. Now I'm going to exit out of that. Great. Now, you've got your flyer, you've sent it out. Again, you're utilizing this Google form for registration. Wonderful. Now, what do you do from here? You have two options. You can either go straight to Facebook Live, so it is time for the webinar. It's the time that you've shown, you've told people about. You can go straight to the webinar. And here I am again. So say something. Thank you for joining us today for an IP that works for you. And then right here, I will post a link to the presentation. Usually it's a PDF that I have in my Google Drive, and I'll post a shareable link. Below that, I'm going to post a couple resources. So the resources are going to be specific to whatever that presentation is. And again, I usually have them in my Google Drive, and I've got them as a shareable link. Sometimes if I have a whole bunch of resources put together for a specific presentation, I will simply put them in a folder and share that whole folder. You can do the same thing with Dropbox. You can share a folder and post the link right there and kind of package it together for families and stakeholders. So then all you have to do is click go live. Now, once you, right before or the day of, you can actually see who has responded. No one's responded to this one because it's a template, but you'll see a whole list of responses. I'm going to go back to this, my drive. Now, Making Your Case is a presentation that we hosted in tandem with Children's Week, which is a statewide initiative in the state of Florida. And it was hosted by Rich LaBelle, our executive director. And we had about 25 responses, which is pretty good. We got people's names, phone numbers, emails. Are you interested in attending an in-person workshop? What county they're in, what state they're in. We got someone from Maryland. You identify as a professional self-advocate, parent, or educator. So you can go ahead and email out everyone that responded to this form and let them know, hey, we are going ahead and we're going to be hosting the webinar today. Don't forget about it. Now, again, you can do it straight from Facebook if you're okay with that. A couple things to recognize. Lighting, okay? Something that is a pet peeve of mine. I used to be a photographer for a newspaper, and lighting is so important. So we got our staff little $15, they're called glam lights on Amazon, and we empowered them with tools to do their job properly. So you can get your staff HD webcams, which are under $100, extremely affordable, 1080p or higher. Logitech has a couple of really great series of high quality HD webcams, and a $10, $15 glam light on Amazon that will clip to the side of a desk. And I chose one with a couple different shades because not everyone looks good in white light. You can see there's white light coming in from the side and a yellow light coming in from the front. Not everyone looks good in white light. Not everyone looks good in yellow light. It's good to play around with the different lighting styles, and it's good to play around with lighting placement. So you can see I'm moving the lamp around. I'm getting a little bit more even lighting, or I can keep it off to the side, and it's going to come more in on a side view, and it cuts right at my nose so you can see shadowing. Well, shadowing over here. And that's done intentionally. You want to make sure that your staff feels prepared, that they look prepared, and that they are ready to go. Now, of course, you can live stream directly from Facebook, or one of the things that we've provided to our staff is a system called Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans are not just for wearing. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. Exit. Now, Blue Jeans is there's a lot of different systems that will allow you to share your screen as um, as you're live streaming to Facebook, but some are more complicated than others. Blue Jeans is definitely one of the most simplistic programs that I have found that lets you share your screen. It looks very similar to GoToWebinar. You have your little control panel on the right-hand side. One of the other added benefits to Blue Jeans is I can actually invite someone to join me. So if I want to host a webinar with someone that's not physically right here, I can copy this link or I can email it to them directly, and their screen is going to pop up side by side. And then we can go to start broadcast to Facebook. So I can actually host webinars with other people like we're able to do with Cisco, with GoToWebinar, even if the person's not in the room with me. That's huge. That's massive. The other thing with Blue Jeans is you can share your screen. So you can pick what you want to share inside of your screen. So you can have that really nice polished look to a webinar with popping up your slide and still having the person in the corner. Now, remember, when you're hosting a Facebook Live, it's about engagement. People don't want to see your slides the whole time. People don't want to see you up in a little corner of the box. They want to see you. They want to hear you. The last thing people want to do is listen to a webinar where it slides on the page and and people talking like this. You want to be engaging, and having your camera up, having confidence in what you're saying and how you're hosting it, and hosting it in a native way that is Facebook is an amazing way to do it. So definitely check out Blue Jeans, look at what it is. But again, you can host multiple people, 2, 3, 4, however many you want in the same webinar, or it can just be you, and it allows you to share your screen. So that's what I have for you, is going from your Facebook presentation registration. We use Google Forms. Then utilize a digital registration flyer or a digital flyer. The other added benefit to Smore, I will say this: if you need to change something, if you need to change the date or the wording, if you send this out in your email blast and your CEO, your executive director, your project director comes back and says, no, we cannot use that wording, we need to change it. That's not the way we talk about an IEP. That's not the phrasing we use for transition services. You can go ahead and click edit your flyer and then edit whatever you want to. Edit the text, the photo, whatever, and click publish changes. And every single person you sent that link to will still have the same link. It updates that link. So you don't have to send it out all over again. It's a really, really great way to keep that same content going. Then you either stream directly to Facebook or to Blue Jeans. So that is my my quick tutorial on how you utilize Facebook Live as a live streaming platform. Now, the thing to remember as you're trying this out is engagement. Make sure that when you're doing this, you're responding to comments. If you don't want to respond in real time, you're a little bit nervous about what you're going to say that's going to be recorded, let them know, hey, I'll inbox you. I'll respond in a private message. Here's my contact information. Shoot me an email. And be real. Again, people want to see you. They don't want to see slides on a page going by with a monotone voice. They want to engage with you. And again, the data is showing us that Facebook is an amazing way to be able to engage with parents on such a wider scale. The content is automatically saved to your Facebook page. So it's become something that we call evergreen. It becomes evergreen content. And that's something that, when we say, oh, we're going to archive our webinars to YouTube, to our Facebook page, that takes time. And for someone on your staff, who we all have many hats, for someone on your staff to download out from Cisco, from WebEx, from GoToWebinar, your recorded webinar, if your staff member remembered to record it. That's the other thing. Your staff members have to remember to record the webinar on those other platforms. But on Facebook Live, it's automatically recorded, it's automatically saved to your page, so you have no extra work. Cut out the middleman, and you've just freed up a couple hours a week in someone's schedule. Again, saving you money and you time to do what you do best, which is serving families. For joining me today. I look forward to speaking with you. If you have any questions, please email me at joe@fndfl.org. Again, joe@franknancydavidfranklarry.org. Thank you so much.